feel like with his lips on the trumpet,
staring at Allah.
Yeah.
1400 years ago.
Staring at him, like waiting for the moment.
that's
Like,
his
Waiting at
purpose.
the throne.
but you know how surreal that is?
That's his purpose, yeah.
But every time we listen to like a day of judgment, like not even death, just day of judgment, we always hear about the 2 fingers or how close it's going to be, how many of the signs. Like that's day of judgment.
Yeah.
Not even death.
Yeah,
Death can literally happen like.
Fair Dinkum.
G'day guys, welcome back to another Fair Dinkum episode. Just on behalf of Fair Dinkum, we wanted to say thank you for all the love and support that you guys have been showing us. We've hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I know we've been pushing you guys to help us get there, and we finally have. We really appreciate it. And secondly, we always see all the love and support you guys show us with your comments, whether you're from Canada, Uzbekistan, I can't even say that country's name, but we see it and we appreciate the support, and hopefully our next goal, you guys can help us get to 10,000 subscribers. Peace. Enjoy the episode.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another FairDinkum podcast. We're back in the studio and we've got a special one for you. It's Ramadan. It's an hour before iftar, so we're gonna do what we can before we go out and eat. So yeah.
What are we eating for iftar?
Let's not talk about food.
Bro, when Ali messaged the Palmy this morning, cuz.
Palmy?
Yeah, Palmy. Apparently, you know, people from Sydney say it's Palmy, and Melburnians say it's Palmer.
I don't
You
want
guys
to
know?
say anything about people from Sydney.
Yeah. We'll leave that. We'll leave that to them. Ramadan boys, because this is actually my first time seeing Suhail in Ramadan, and allegedly I saw you one night. No, I haven't seen you.
No, we haven't seen
I haven't
each
seen you as well.
Did you go out?
Nah, that was before Ramadan, a couple
Before
days before.
Ramadan,
How's your Ramadan been?
Who'd you direct that question to?
You.
Was that my...
Yeah. Looking at you.
My Ramadan so far, man, it's been a blessing. But I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that like Ramadan doesn't sink into until like the second half of Ramadan. You get what I mean? Like I don't know what Ramadan feels like until Ramadan's slowly leaving. You get what I mean?
Still doing with the withdrawal from coffee and
all that
got
kind of
headaches
stuff.
and you need a
Bro,
nap.
by the way, we'll get back to Ramadan in 2 seconds. Yesterday, first date in almost 3 years.
No coffee?
No coffee.
Jeez.
I was telling the boys on the phone call the other day.
Actually, me too, but yesterday I
yeah.
didn't yesterday I didn't have coffee. That's funny,
How
bro.
do you feel? Do you feel lost or not?
Ugly.
It was
I had
a
to have
bad
another one in the
feeling. It was a
morning.
bad feeling.
Actually, what?
You feel
I had one
tired.
in the morning, yeah.
It was a wrecked feeling. But getting back to the whole Ramadan thing, like for example, I was telling you boys the other night over the call, like a lot of people like prepare for Ramadan. They get like they feel a sense of joy when Ramadan's about to come. Like, you know, there's people that decorate their houses and stuff. You go and they go to IBC and whatnot, buy those little, you know, those lights and whatnot, and they decorate the houses. I'm one of those people. Like 4 days in, it's like, oh, Ramadan's still not around the corner. You get what I mean? And it doesn't sink in until later on. So I'm still going through that phase right
like
now.
when you go Tarawih the first couple of days.
That's nice.
Yeah, like the
But
environment.
it's not like, you don't feel like it's Ramadan, you just feel like you're doing extra prayers.
It's like an extended day shit.
Tarawih, you know, with Tarawih, what I miss most about it is the fact that we didn't have Tarawih last year, COVID. That was the biggest difference. So I'm trying to get out of the house as much as possible
And
so I can
enjoy it.
actually absorb this Ramadan.
It's
Because
also-
last year it was taken away from us.
You know how like obviously the title is like, what if this was your last Ramadan? It's even a blessing just being in Melbourne for Ramadan, because there's other countries that don't have Tarawih again. You know?
What country?
Like there's a lot of countries that are still in restrictions, still in COVID. A lot of countries
they're
around.
still in
Oh,
lockdown.
like
Canada's about to go back
Canada's-
into- yeah.
You see?
I
So
heard
they're
that,
just starting Tarawih. They're like, oh, or maybe they're not gonna, or maybe the last 10 days. So it's very different. Even just being in Melbourne is but for me, I'm the opposite. I prepare for Ramadan. Like, you remember when I was doing the challenge and I was doing things like 50, 60 days in advance. I'm thinking Ramadan, how I want my Ramadan schedule to be and stuff.
Yeah, people think about it like a month in
Yeah.
advance. You go, that's crazy. That's crazy. I was about to say something, guys. Like, let me hold that back.
But the struggling part of it is you can plan so much, but when you get, it's like they say, oh, you can have a preparation for a fight, like a fight plan, but everything goes out the window when you get punched in the face. That's a boxing statement.
Ramadan throws a hook, bro.
But it's like your Ramadan, it's like, I want to do this, then after Isha, I'm going to like, for example, I said I want to go gym after Isha, then I come back and I do my memorization or my reading, and then I'll sleep at this time. As soon as Ramadan starts, everything's out the window. Your energy levels, family commitments, you get invited out. Like Ali and I, we don't get invited out a lot, but then it's like 4 days in a row, random different aunties and uncles are inviting us. We're like, okay, this changes everything. What are you going to eat the day before a game?
And then you got like this little tiny window between waking up and then iftar. Because after iftar, I think that's it, day is done.
Yeah.
You go Tarawih.
It's packed out.
You're like, if you're thinking, I'm going to read Quran after, you're not going to do it. Let's
Yeah.
If you think I'm gonna
Not
do
after
this
4
afternoon, I'm
sambus.
not gonna do that, bro. No way, brother. No way.
Bro, I remember the start of Ramadan, bro. I was like to myself, you know what? Like, I got soccer training. Ashraf and I both have soccer training Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, alhamdulillah, with the eating, we have to, like, we're limited to eating, like, only one serving. But then the other days, obviously, you eat too much. But then when it comes to, like, my schedule, I was telling Ashraf, I want to go gym. Like, I want to first break fast with the family, pray Taraweeh, go gym, and then after gym, I'm going to do my assignment.
Go gym just before.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm
Oh
telling
my
myself
God.
this. I'm trying to convince,
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
convincing myself, yeah, I'm going to have the energy. Don't worry. I'll have one coffee, I'm set.
Yeah.
Bro, I finished the gym. The gym was good, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
But then I got home, do my assignment, I was staring at the laptop. I'm like, nah, this ain't happening.
This
bro.
ain't happening.
You know what we
There's
need
no
to do?
chance.
You know what we need to do? We need to see things that we're doing in Ramadan, for example, like, you know, the extra fasting and the whole thing. We need to see it as, like, it's actually something big. It's not something small. Wallah, heck, it's
Yeah.
not taking energy from me. Should go about my day normal. Because what I did was, like you were saying, I was saying, yeah, I'm going to go gym straight after thing. I just have a nice coffee. Bro, I just prayed, like, for an hour and a bit. Taraweeh, you know? Taraweeh is not something small. You're standing up. Obviously, it's ibadah. You should be happy to do it and whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
obviously, your body gets taxed as well.
takes a
Because
toll,
you've just
yeah.
eaten for the first time. Your body's still trying to digest.
After a
That's
long
true.
day.
Yeah, so your
Right.
system's still moving and stuff, bro.
Yeah.
But you're starting to come towards the end of the it's night, bro. Let's be honest, like it's not gonna be as easy as we think it is to get up and go to the gym at that time. So what you do is you just don't plan to fail. What I do is I split my gym routine into 6 days, 7 days now, yeah?
Okay.
And I go 30 minutes before iftar. And basically what I do is I work out one body part. So for example, chest is one day, back is one day.
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
not like I've done extra exercises and I've just done specifically chest.
So you just hit it, but you're not doing
Getting into
extra.
the gym is
so you're
another
just
thing.
doing the basic.
Bro,
like
but
the-
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you hallucinate. Like you hit like cloud 10 when you're fasting and you're doing exercise.
Oh, yeah.
It's some weird feeling, bro.
You know, that there's actual term for it.
What
It's,
is
it's called a fasted high.
Fasted high, is
You
it?
can get a high from fasting, yeah.
Oh, God,
So you get
educate
to-
me. I need to know this, bro.
We'll talk about it when we get the intermittent fasting guy on the actual episode.
Give us a little glimpse. Go on.
But basically is when you put your body under, I always use this word stress, but you put your body under a certain amount of stress to the point where your body starts like releasing ketone bodies and stuff. So your body's energy source isn't the original energy source,
Yeah.
being glucose, carbohydrates and whatnot. So you get to this stage of like a fasted high where you're more alert, you're more aware what's going on, and even when you're exercising, you're at like an optimum. You got what I mean? That's why NBA players that aren't actually Muslim, like Jaylen Brown, do you know he's fasting at the moment? Yeah, Jaylen Brown ain't Muslim, and he's fasting at the moment. He's taking part in Ramadan only because of that feeling and taking himself to the next level. I heard that, I'm like, wow.
And Sheikh Kari as well.
Check out, no,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mean
I've seen that.
Khalid Ibrahim.
What? What is it?
Khalid Ibrahim.
Wait, that's not.
That's his Muslim name.
No way.
That's
Khan.
his name.
Twitter's different.
But Ramadan, when you get here, you realize like you have to kind of do what's the most important thing in this short time. So that's where it's like for me, for example, I haven't hit the gym in like 3-4 days, and then it's like it's not that deep there.
No, I'm joking.
I could tell. I was thinking about it this morning. But even regardless of gym, even just like maybe working or even going and seeing your friends,
Yeah,
it's like you only have a finite amount of energy.
yeah, for
And
sure.
if you want to do like a juz a day, or you want to do a lecture a day, or you want to go Taraweeh, you have to say, okay, if I go Taraweeh, I can't go gym and I can't see my friend and I can't do my assignments. Because we know like uni, it's a busy time of year now.
Yeah,
So it's like it's finite, and it's actually like a struggle to kind of balance it all. But if you can try to get like a rhythm, even the last 10 days,
Yeah.
yeah.
What have you done for like trying to balance, you know, like day-to-day life? And because I know that you've got like greater responsibilities now that Ramadan's come across and now work's starting to kick up and stuff like that. What is it that you do now? Because there's that guilt that hits when you don't do a habit. For example, gym. Now you kind of have to sacrifice gym for other things. Like, what are you doing to like balance out your life and your personal
a
stuff?
small thing is, for example, like if you're trying to do like a juz a day and you do like, it's 4 pages each salat or whatever, it's like doing a little extra because I know I'm going to fall behind somewhere. Because like the other day I was busy the whole day and I read like 2 pages. So if you're trying to do the whole Quran in the month, you're 20 pages behind from one day. And then every other day, if you slack off, you're going to fall behind. So sometimes I'll do like a little extra. Or I won't even kill myself like for Taraweeh. Like the other night, I went to a mosque that did 20. And I prayed Isha and I prayed like 8 and then I left. And I didn't say, oh, why am I leaving? I'm not
Yeah, you
staying the
didn't
whole
feel
night. I did enough where I was like, alhamdulillah, at least I hit it. Let me come back tomorrow. It's like what you said about the gym. It's the same kind of thing. It was like your ibadah as well. can kind of balance it. It's like I'm not just praying the whole month. I'm also trying to give sadaqah, read, trying to do ilm, trying to do memorizing.
Yeah.
So trying to get like a wide spectrum of different things.
A lot of the time, people are destructively productive.
Yeah.
You heard of that
Yeah.
before?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Jordan Peterson's talking about it in one of his videos. I'm not going to shout him out too much, but
But what do you mean
He
by
goes-
destructive? Yeah.
so basically, what people try to do is they try to organize their life into blocks, and they just keep going, and they
Yeah.
think that I have to be organized on the ball, and I have to do this. And what happens is they kind of like implode.
If
kinda-
it doesn't go to plan,
Yeah.
Well, not only if it doesn't go to plan, but just basically because everything's become like you're a robotic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything's
your
just
life's-
like
yeah.
robotic, and you're
That's not
just
how
going
life is.
through. You're not going
Yeah.
through the rhythm of
Yeah.
life. You're not
Yeah.
you're not kind of experiencing. You're not living in the moment. Basically, you're
Mm.
thinking about what the next task is,
Yeah.
and
You know-
then
You know, even productivity people, they speak about like when you're trying to, they said time management, when you're trying to plan, you're not supposed to plan your whole day. You're supposed to plan like your morning. And then you kind of have that free time later on to do all the things you need. But you can't make your life 10-minute blocks, 20-minute blocks.
Can't.
It's not,
bro,
it's not
it's
realistic.
not how life should be.
It's not
Yeah.
realistic at all.
You can
Yeah.
try, but it
Yeah.
won't work.
You can group with it. Like mornings, I'm going to do my, for example, my physical activity, and I'm going to do my, like muraja, I'm going to do my memorization or practice. And then the middle of the day is work.
Yeah.
And nighttime is relaxation. So you still group it,
Yeah.
but you don't do like a strict regimen. Every half an hour, I'm doing this.
And I think, like, across the board, consistently between everyone, I think everyone struggles with time in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, people going into Ramadan. And Ramadan in of itself, is like a resemblance of time. You realize how important time is. You know what I mean? Like, you go, like, for example, me, when I'm working or whatnot, I come back from work after starting early in the morning, and I'm knackered when I get home. You get what I mean? But you still got stuff to do. You know what I mean? Then you realize the importance of that little pocket of time that you get in between certain things. You get what I mean? And that's where, like, even with the hadith talking about doing the small things and doing it consistently, that's one of the most beloved deeds. You know what I mean? When you're doing it small and it's consistent over time. And Ramadan low-key teaches you that as well. I was going to speak about, boys, the whole idea of Ramadan and it being like a resemblance of death. Do you get what I mean? Like, I saw a tweet the other day. Actually, I saw it before Ramadan actually came about. And essentially said that how... Let me get the tweet out, actually. So I don't abuse it, because it's actually pretty nice, 2 seconds. It goes, so you're fasting for 17 to 18 hours and you're craving food, but then getting full after a few bites is a perfect analogy of how short the pleasures of this dunya is and how long they will last. You get what I mean? And after that got me thinking about death a little bit, thinking about the idea that, like, you've got your dunya going on, you got your day going on, you want to go to the gym, you want to do this, you want to do that. You guys at uni and whatnot, you might be in the lab in and out, but then at the end of the day, and you're thinking about it the whole time, that hunger, and then that hunger all goes away in 2 seconds, the second you have that first date or water or coffee, however you break it. You get what I mean? What's your thoughts on that, boys?
I think death. You can also drawing correlation between death and breaking your fast. I think one thing that you can understand is that you can never be satisfied fully. You know what I mean? Like, even before death, like, you don't even know where the next morsel of your food is gonna come from. And then you want something? Like, okay, let me reiterate this. So, for example, death can come at any time, as can your feed, but you don't know if that's possible tomorrow, because God knows what happens. Part of your body just shuts down and you can't eat anymore. Like, nothing can go down the hatch, or you have to get fed through a tube, bro. Something like a car accident or something like that happens, So, I don't know, man. I think everything can remind you of death, And
But the only thing is, we just said that. For example, we know we're going to get eaten in 45 minutes. But we don't think, like, we know conviction, I'm eating in 45 minutes when I go for iftar. But do you have conviction that, like, death is really around the corner? Like, when I drive, I'm not really thinking this might be my last time driving. Like, that kind of thing is like, do we really believe that it could be our last day?
Because I have flashes of it throughout the day, Like, there's moments, like, there's one thing that happens to me when I lie down. I realize, like, when you got, like, the blanket on top and you're kind of, like, buried in the bed. And
Yeah.
You think about that.
This, you just look up and you go, far, right now, I'm so comfortable that if somebody comes in here and just, like, for example, someone just stabs me or something like that, I can be gone, like I'm helpless,
Yeah, that's
I'm,
it.
like, helpless.
Yeah, I get it.
Look, I'm lying down on my back. Like, I'm so, like, worthless. Look. This is the same position I'm going to be in when I'm in the Abr. you know. And when I look at myself in like when I rolled my ankle, or when I'm in these moments where it kind of shows me my mortality, you know, like for example, driving and you almost hit, like some guy swerves out the lane, you're like,
That flash you get.
you know,
Yeah.
there's always these flashes that you can see. Like yesterday, me and my little brother were coming back from Tarawih, and there's like this weird road where it's not a giveaway, it's like a merging lane. But the geniuses in front of us decided to stop. Yeah? They decided to stop in this, you know, you're supposed to keep moving, the traffic's supposed to keep moving. You're looking over your shoulder, and you're like, hang on. Like, these guys are in the lane, but they're supposed to move. So they move for us. You're supposed to, you know, jump in the lane. These guys are stopped. And I'm kind of like moving still, and I'm looking over my shoulder, and then I turn around. These guys are still stuck. I'm like, and I'm going like 40, 50 Ks, yeah? I'm like, oh, my little brother looked at me like this. I looked at him.
He saw Malik al-Maut.
Subhanallah.
Bro, Malik
Sorry,
al-Maut, bro,
nice.
the light, bro. We saw the light. It wasn't the headlights either, bro. But yeah, man, that sort of stuff, man. You can't say that we don't see him day to day. There's always a reminder of death, man.
But you, obviously the driving, but I've never thought when I'm in bed wrapped in a blanket that, oh, this is how I'm going to be in the grave, and that someone might come and stab me now.
Yeah, I've
like
never
these
thought
thoughts,
like that.
it's not common. Like there's times, like for example, whenever I say goodbye to my family, like leave the house, or I always feel like it might be the last goodbye. Like if I say Assalamu alaikum, and then, or if I'm mad at someone, then I'm conscious, what if this is the last conversation?
Yeah, 100.
You know, but that might not be common. It's like whenever I leave the house, I might say like love you or Assalamu alaikum. Like you want it to be good words.
Yeah.
But then someone else might not be conscious. It's not a normal thing like to always think about death.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
get
Or
you, I
even
get
if you
though.
think about it, to believe I might actually die.
Yeah, for me, like, to be honest, I haven't been as conscious about death until we brought up about the topic. Okay, we're going to speak about it. I'm like, okay, sweet, death. And then once, like, you start to watch a video too, it's like, damn, it's like, I could actually be, like, this could be my last day. It's not about someone else that, like, passed away or, like, other people you see because of old age. It's like, no, it's actually me as well, like myself. I'm going to be accounted for certain things, like.
There's a surah in the Quran, yeah. I can't remember which surah it was. It talks about the sky ripping apart, and Duma Ali Khan said in one of his videos, he goes, when the sky rips apart, I think it's Surah Al-Infitar. I think that's the one. So like the whole purpose or the end goal of the sky is to rip apart on the Day of Judgment. Basically, it was created to do that at the end. It's not created to do what we think it's doing now and like holding up some sort of like a dome or something, atmosphere or something like that.
That's what we all
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it draws correlation to its end purpose. You know, its end purpose is to tear apart on the Day of Judgment when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing us all back. And then you think about it, we're created, what's the end goal? To die. We're dying. But we don't know that we're dying until we're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that when you think about it like that, like my whole purpose in this world isn't accumulating wealth or being loved or doing this or how much tarawih can I get in and how productive can I be day to day.
Yeah.
It's end game. But you don't know end game when end game's gonna come, you know?
Exactly. And that's what Ramadan teaches. I always hear this, like shuyukh and all that kind of stuff, tell you, like, make the most of this Ramadan because it might be your first Ramadan, your last Ramadan. And you think about it, it's like, oh, did I ever do enough? You know what I mean? And you know when I said to you, hey, at the start of Ramadan, I don't feel like the feeling of Ramadan has hit me. You know, one thing that actually keeps me going or realize, yo, I actually made it, is the fact that I could have died, 2 days before and whatnot before Ramadan. And that last Ramadan could have been my last Ramadan. And until that idea cements in my head, then do I realize, hey, this is when I need to start going.
If for some, like by some miracle, you actually found out this was your last Ramadan, 5th day of Shawwal, you're passing away, would you be completely like, would you transform this Ramadan? Like from what you're doing now?
Yes, 100%.
But think about that, like,
yeah.
If someone actually told you and you knew for sure 5th of Shawwal, like a couple days after Eid, you're passing away, my Ramadan will change completely.
It's a great
This
question.
Ramadan.
Yeah,
And it's like, but honestly, it's a consciousness. Like you might think I might die then, or because you could die. You don't even know if, like, aren't you supposed to, when you wake up in the morning, don't think you're gonna survive until the night, and then when you sleep, don't think you're gonna wake up until the next morning.
Yeah,
you
are
know.
100%.
So that's a consciousness we should be having. But it's like we might think about it, like now we talk about it, then 2 days later we forget. It's like when we go, you know, when people pass away and you go to like the janazah and then you go to the burial and you go to the cemetery, you're in your fields for like 3 hours, and then that night you just forget about it. because we just keep moving from the next thing onto the next thing, and we don't actually think and see how how the reason he thought he might die lying down is because someone comes and stabs him. That's not how you die. Like the angel of death comes and takes you. Doesn't have to be a reason for it. But I think our reason for thinking we might die is some made up potential, like some random guy's gonna walk the street and enter my room and stab me. And if that doesn't happen, I can't die. That's why we think we're not gonna die.
Yeah,
because 100 years ago, people died from diseases and malaria and influenza and just going to war. COVID. But then now, the only reason people die is maybe like unforeseen circumstance, like obviously car accidents, stuff like that. But it's like really older people who maybe went through cancer, or they're just old age, like in their 70s and 80s. Yeah. But it's not like people in their 20s.
Yeah, and there's young guys that die in their sleep every day.
Like,
see?
You got old people still.
But why don't we think that's going to be us?
Like I know someone, I don't know like exactly, it happened maybe a few years ago, late 20s, this Lebanese brother in the area. Ashraf have probably seen him as well. I've versed him in futsal and that. Allah rahmah. He actually passed away while playing footy for his team.
Oh,
like he was on the field. Like how surreal is that? It's like that's the last place you're gonna think.
Kicked the goal and he was celebrating as well. Yeah.
Yeah. See?
In the act.
Like I think it was a possible heart attack. I'm not too sure, but like imagine going on a Saturday. Yeah, I'm playing with my boys. This that. I'm playing what I love, and then it's like that's your last moment.
There's actually, I was telling you, I'm reading The Alchemist. Yeah, in the book he was talking about. Like, oh my god, sorry.
Tell me you're not reading it Ramadan.
Nah. But basically, yeah, and this doesn't mean that I was reading it in Ramadan. but yeah, in The Alchemist, the guy that he meets, so the main character meets the alchemist, and the alchemist goes, he goes, how come we don't know when we die? How come we don't know when we're going to die, or how long we have left to live? He goes, because if you find out when you're going to die, you're going to be depressed up to that point, So what's going to befall you, you're not going to be able to enjoy life or living, you know what I mean? Because you're going to know when your expiration date is, and all you're going to have is just grief, Do
you agree with that though?
I think the deen's different there.
Yeah.
The deen,
but this is the thing.
This is
For us, we know it's a reality. Yeah? But why don't we know when the day of judgment is? Obviously, the knowledge is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah? But what I'm saying is, the reason why I like that saying so much was because you let go of this grief. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's business.
Yeah.
When He decides to take me, it's His business. When it's my last breath, the last thing that I do, my last action, all that sort of stuff, they're somewhat things I can control, but I don't really know what is going to be like the last moment. Like the last moment could be me yelling at my mum before I leave the house because we had a fight or something, and then I turn around and bang. And obviously, but that's why we make dua for our last days to be
last moment to be the best,
best moment.
And that is also why the whole idea, how I was saying about doing the small things and doing it consistently, that's one of the reasons why that's emphasized. Is so then if you are going to die unexpectedly, you die on those things that are consistent. You get what I mean? Compared to if you do Umrah once in, that's in a bad example.
No, I get you.
Like if you pray like a sunnah, for example, you pray a sunnah once every 12 weeks. The chances of you dying on that sunnah compared to dying it, if you prayed 5 times sunnah, you get what I mean? The whole consistency idea.
But see how Ali spoke about the brother, Allah yarhamu, who passed away playing footy? Or we know stories about, you said people in their 20s passing away in their sleep. Why don't we believe we're going to be one of those people? Obviously, the numbers are few, but obviously someone has to be that person. So why don't we have that feeling? Us in our 20s, we think we're going to live until we're 70 and then we're going to pass away.
It's the whole, I think it's the way that we're brought up in society. For example, you go through I
feel like we're too distracted, yeah?
We're very distracted with the idea of everything happening down the line. You got what I mean? You're focused, like in kindergarten, you're focused on getting to primary school. I don't know what kindergarten student is.
Bro, I'm finger painting.
But then primary, then secondary, and then especially in secondary, you're always so focused about that career job. You get what I mean? Or getting next step. And even in terms of teachers, the way that they bring you up in terms of the way they teach you, from a young age, they say, what do you want to be when you get older?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Who said we're going to get older? You get what I mean?
Well, when you're at uni, they tell you go to uni to get a job, Who told you?
Bro, did you see the basketball player that passed away today?
Which one?
What?
A basketball player, Terrence Clark, plays for Duke. Yeah, passed away today in a car accident. Yeah, he just signed with Clutch Sports, Rich Paul's agency, LeBron James, part of. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
died in a car crash last night, and he was just about to enter the NBA draft. Only 19 years old.
Subhanallah.
You get what I mean? Like that guy didn't expect. Think about him. He thought.
Yeah.
He's
And you know,
in
car
millions,
accidents,
bro.
sometimes you're driving. See, like you said, you saw the person in front of you, so you swerved. Sometimes a car comes and you don't even, like, you look to your left,
Oh, 100.
and then another guy, and you don't even know you're going to die. Like,
Yeah.
boom, it just happens in the moment.
Mm.
There's no build up. It can happen out of nowhere.
And God doesn't need to give you an explanation.
Not
You
at
know,
all, bro.
like, oh, I'm gonna give you a letter in the mail telling you, hey, brother, sorry, but this is what
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
This is
Man.
your time.
So what did you say? Why do you think, like, we don't think we're going to die?
What was that?
Like, why do you think, like, we don't think we're going to die?
I
young?
actually no, I actually believe, wholeheartedly. I've never had that thought.
Okay.
I've always dealt with the idea of death. Like I feel like
Mashallah.
it all stemmed from depression, bro. That's me being honest.
Yeah, it's
worked
When I had my depression, but honestly, bro, when I was going through it a bit in life, yeah, I kind of like, you know what it is. You don't welcome it, but you're kind of like, oh, what really does this world have to offer me anyway? You know, like,
Yeah.
but the thing is, you can't wish for death because you want to be on earth longer to do good, to do more, you know, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more, to do right by the people that have done right by you, you know. But when you think about it, there's not much you can do as one person, but be like a positive influence through your own actions, you know. And then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you with certain things, like obviously financial like independence and all that sort of stuff, inshallah, like then you can kind of like help people from a tangible point. But I don't think you can help people too much in like the metaphysical realm. Things have to be felt by people. People have to go through things. People have to see things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times I can't relate experiences to you wholeheartedly. Like how I felt in that moment where I almost like swerved out.
We'll never understand.
You know, you'll never
Yeah,
get. You'll
it's
be like,
true.
oh yeah, that's bad. But then
Yeah.
you'll move.
Yeah.
But then after that, me and my little brother were like sitting there for I think a solid maybe 10, 15 seconds quiet. He looked at me, I looked at him, and no one said nothing.
And he probably didn't feel what you felt as well.
Yeah,
Being
exactly.
in the driver's seat. That's the funny thing as well.
Bro, because he's probably the one that was gonna cop it more than me. Because he was in the passenger, and I swerved out that way.
Yeah.
But the cars, if I was to hit him, they were on his side.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So he's probably, and I know that kid. That guy thinks too much, bro. I don't want
Ibby?
Ibby.
Shout out
Ibby. Wallah, dude, I was hoping. I was like, come on, bro, please don't like get anxious with me now and then
Yeah.
ask me a million questions about death when we
Yeah.
get home. I'm like, just see,
I
I
don't
have to
need
let
it.
it go, bro. Let it go. But nah, he's
And
good.
plus, you trust your driving as well. So you have a bit of control in the situation to a degree. He does not know what the hell is going on.
Oh,
You get what I mean? Like, I
100%.
could go now, I could go there. Isu's got me. You get
Yeah,
what I
he
mean?
doesn't have those, you know, the passenger drivers how they have those
The brake.
yeah,
their
like
own
pull a
set,
handbrake
yeah.
for him and do a drift, come back.
Yeah.
But now I don't know, man. I feel like death for me has always been reality, bro. Subhanallah.
I remember one of the first conversations we had, you said that, like, I feel like I'm going to die young. And you
Yeah.
had that perspective. You
But
know?
I'll be honest
But
with
even when
you-
you said young, you gave an age.
Mm.
And the thing is, like, you said, like, I think you said 27. That's
28, 27,
yeah,
somewhere around
that's a
that.
couple years away.
But
But the thing is, like, that's
Gave away my
it's
age.
still a perspective that it's in a couple years or sometime in the future. You know, it's still 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, in the future. You know, it's not like it's gonna happen today. And that's where, like, the Ramadan is like, what if this was our last Ramadan?
Exactly.
And it's like, because Allah Alam, like the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said when he went on Isra al-Miraj, he saw Prophet Angel Israfil like with his lips on the trumpet,
Staring
Yeah,
at Allah.
really, yeah.
1400 years ago.
Staring at him, like waiting
Yeah.
for the
'Cause
moment.
that's
to-
his
Waiting at
purpose.
the throne.
but you know how surreal that is?
That's his purpose, yeah.
But every time we listen to like a day of judgment, like not even death, just day
Yeah.
of judgment, we always hear about the 2 fingers or how close it's going to be, how many of the signs. It's like,
The
that's
bees
day
and-
of judgment,
Yeah.
not even death.
Yeah, not
Death
even
can
your own
literally
death,
happen
yeah.
like,
Now,
you know?
Yeah, now, like mid podcast, we could
Yeah.
be just go home, bro. That's it.
Yeah,
car accidents
subhanallah.
happen. It's like, but that idea is like every single day just being, even just for Ramadan, like obviously it's not something like, I was reading about death and there was like a hadith, let me quickly just read it.
Go
Just
ahead.
the Prophet said, like, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam encouraged believers to desire a long life for 2 reasons. One, you just said, to increase in good deeds, and then to make up for past mistakes. So you still should like desire a long life, but even if the perspective isn't going to be here forever, but if for the next 2 weeks, we just had the idea that this might be our last Ramadan, my Ramadan will be different.
Yeah.
Say we say like our best Ramadan. If
Yeah.
I believed every day, this
That
would be
would be
like
the
the
best
bestest
Ramadan.
best Ramadan.
No, but I want to ask you honestly, what would you change if this was your last one?
I wouldn't go for iftar with you boys. I'd be like reading Quran or something. No.
That's
But-
straight up. No,
yeah.
you would flip it over.
Yeah.
Your whole schedule. You'd be more selfish in
Yeah,
a way
be
where you
more
have to
selfish.
be.
Even if it's a palmy.
But it's that kind of thing.
You're
It's
getting
like
too hungry, bro.
you prioritize what's gonna like. Imam Ghazali, remember the letter to the disciple?
Yeah.
He wrote a book like his life advice. Imam Ghazali,
Hmm.
and he said, he goes, if you knew you had 1 week left to live, you wouldn't be wasting time doing like theology or even like fiqh. You'd do things like you'd increase in good deeds, and you'd rectify like your own heart, purify your heart, increase in good deeds, and like just do things that are going to benefit you in the next life that don't have like short-term gain. They have long-term gain. So if I knew this was going to be my last Ramadan, like Ramadan is the best time to increase in ibadah, increase in reading. You know, Sheikh Yahya Ibrahim told us recently, and it's that kind of thing. Like if I knew this was my last Ramadan, that's all I'd do.
Yeah, for sure.
Ibadah. It's like the month for ibadah. That's like we all know.
Mm.
Yeah, I
You
want
know?
to counter quote you, Abu Layl, bro. You know Abu Layl?
Yeah.
He spoke about it in one of his videos. He goes, it's not about the food and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And he's like, it's more about the muhabba. And obviously, it passed by the guy who he is and whatever. But extracting from that, the fact that you can gain good deeds through seeing people, you know, putting a smile on another believer's face, you
It's
know,
true.
all that sort of stuff. That's
Yeah.
charity, bro. Sadaqah, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only thing
And-
is like, obviously, I was joking.
No,
about
no, no,
going
no,
out.
go.
But the thing is like, the month of Ramadan is about seclusion. It's about being selfish, and even to go out like. Itikaf was an encouraged sunnah for the last 10 days, and there was a year the Prophet did itikaf for the whole month. Did the first 10 days,
And then he said,
Yeah.
today, the Laylatul Qadr. Yeah.
but it is the month of being selfish. It's not
Yeah.
the month of socializing. And even us, we socialize. If you talk about Allah and talk about good deeds, it's obviously beneficial.
Yeah.
But if you do that every night, it's that kind of thing. It's like you still have to have a balance of, you know, the thing we spoke about before, balance.
Yeah.
If there's a balance, it's all khair.
Wasn't there a sheikh that said, I can't remember like 100%, so don't quote me, but the Prophet ﷺ used to always pray his fara'id in a jama'ah, in congregation,
Yeah.
but then when it came to his nawafil,
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the side, nobody knew about it, you know,
Uh-huh.
between him and Allah subhanahu
Mm.
wa ta'ala. So that
Mm.
that in itself for me, I tried to like, I was like, okay, you pray sunnah and you knock off your witr when you're in the mosque praying that shit. Yeah, like even if it's outside of Ramadan, people think, oh, well, if I knock off that shit, witr now, I'll go home and I
Yeah.
can just conquer, you know?
Relax.
Yeah, but like thinking about it, I was like,
Yeah.
isn't there like some sort of like knowledge there that we don't know about that
Yeah.
the Rasul
Yeah.
Sallallahu did?
Sallallahu.
You know that.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast is because you learn things that you didn't know before, even though those things are right in front of you.
Yes.
Like in the Sheikh Yahya episode, speaking about the idea of like Ramadan is a time of seclusion.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But then like, and Nu'man was saying this the other day as well. Like we've got to change our interpretation or our meaning of Ramadan. You know what I mean? When we look at Ramadan, we don't want to look at it as a period of you're literally not eating food. Or you're waiting to, like, I go to work and then I say to them, they say to me, oh, you're not eating or something like that. They offer me bacon and eggs early in the morning. I said, no, I'm fasting. Do you get what I mean? And they said, you're going to have a big feast later on. And that same day, I listened to a Nu'man video and he goes, we've got to change our interpretation, our meaning of Ramadan. Because the meaning of Ramadan or the whole idea of Ramadan has become like stir-fried food, what do you call it,
Palmies.
big feast, palmies and all that kind of stuff. Whereas
Sure.
whereas Ramadan back in the days was a time of getting close, a period of ibadah. And that's what I was saying with the Sheikh Yahya episode. Like, I knew that before, but then it didn't hit me until you hear it properly. Do you get what I mean? That Ramadan is a time of seclusion. Do you get what I mean? So you shouldn't be like, like some people might say, hey, let's all go read the Quran together or something like that. Or let's all chill and blah, blah, blah. Off nights may be there, but it's a time where it's between you and Allah. So make the most
That's
of
what the
it.
man
You get what I
That's
mean?
probably what I would change.
And look at that.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
reel that back to death as well, when you die, who is it? It's just you.
And that's
And
the thing
Allah.
that,
Yeah,
like,
and the
if you're
grave
conscious of death, you would actually pray the extra sunnah and do the dhikr after salat and sit there and make an extra dua. And that's what the death is supposed to do. It's supposed to remind you so you do a bit more, because out of like fear and out of like worry that what you've done is like, you know, insufficient.
Pull out the Ghazali quote that you got from the letter of the disciple, the one they sent in the group chat the other day. Do you remember the one where it spoke about like if you understand the length of life in comparison to the length of the afterlife, you'll just keep going. You wouldn't even you wouldn't be like I'm tired.
Yeah.
Or
That's how I
lethargic.
interpreted the Alchemist quote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in terms of the Alchemist quote, like, yeah, it's a bit depressing if you couldn't control your affairs and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
or if you had too much control over your affairs. But also, like, it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain. You know what I mean? Like, you sacrificed a portion of this dunya, yeah, for an akhirah that's for an eternity.
Mm.
You get me?
How would you like to try to build the habit, because I'm going to try to build it, how would you try to build the habit of like thinking of I might die and death more frequently? You know, I want to build the habit of thinking about it. How would you build it?
That's a good question, man. I always thought I was gonna die. I used to, you know, you know those innocent du'as you make as a child. You know what my innocent du'a was? That I'd be the last person on the face of the earth.
You don't want to be the last person.
I used to, because I thought it was like a brag type of thing. Hey, cuz like
I lasted this whole time.
This whole time I wanted to see like an apocalypse and all this kind of stuff. And then later, as you get older, you realize that ain't a good thing.
Ashraf, speaking on like the consistent reminds of death, I heard a story about like the Salaf. I don't know which like scholars it was, but like you know how you have essential things in your home, bathroom, and all that. They had a grave.
What?
So
Inside their
like
home?
like it was essential. Like it was essential in the home. Maybe they're, I don't know, backyard. I don't know exactly, but they have a grave.
Subhanallah.
Every day, they would go in that grave, and then they'll say what like where in the Quran it mentions like, oh Allah, send me back. Like they'll say it out loud. I think like they'll lie to themselves just to experience it. Then they'll come out of the grave, stand on top of the grave, and say to themselves, like that Allah has sent you, like is giving you another chance, but then there's going to be a day where you won't.
This is like another level to visiting the
this is another
graveyard.
level.
Like
You're making that face, but I guarantee you there's some profound.
No, there's wisdom in it. Wallah,
No, that would be
but
wisdom, bro.
people talk about life-changing moments, going into the grave to bury someone, but not even burying, just looking up, being 6 feet under.
That's
That's
surreal.
life-changing.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine doing that every day.
That's perspective, man.
Because there was I remember there was
Allah.
Mercy Mission or some other place. There was a thing where you can go into like a box or something and
Yeah.
you close it. I never got to do that. Some of
Yeah.
the brothers did.
I did it.
But see,
Yeah.
how was that?
Can't see
Do you
anything
remember?
inside, can you?
Abdul Khafarin, you know, from Amsa and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
he was the one playing the sounds,
But-
and that asked us questions: Who is your Lord? Who is your this?
So how was it for you since you've done it? Because I never got the chance.
How
Do you
was it?
remember or no?
I'll talk about off camera.
Okay, no worries.
yeah.
But like, but even
No,
that, even that idea of like experience, that's surreal. Like that will get you like
Undertaker.
bringing you closer to death,
Yeah.
like making it more realistic to you.
So you're the Undertaker
Yeah.
for a second.
So do you reckon, because we obviously will not have the opportunity to
Yeah.
go into the grave, do you think going to the graveyard is like
I think it's the
good-
closest you can get
Yeah,
because it's not realistic to have an
yeah.
open grave to go in. But
I think
yeah,
it's
It's
hard
an
to
encouraged
visualize.
sunnah, so yeah.
I think it's hard to visualize anything unless you're actually in it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's true. Like when you do go to the graveyard, it's hard to picture how it'd be inside and stuff because it's like you feel like you'll never get there.
Definitely, man.
I think though, even though you can't picture it, sometimes it's interesting to go to the graveyard, because then you go and you look at someone, they're like, they're 60 years old but they've been buried for 80 years, or this person was only 31.
Well, that person died today,
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, or you know, or people like people are forgotten about. Like I don't know my great grandmother's name, you know, and I don't even know where they're buried, and I don't make dua for them. Obviously, I make the generic about my ancestors, you know, my
Which is-
lineage,
yeah.
but it's not like a specific dua where they're mentioned by name. It's like one of these things was like you get forgotten about over time. So that kind of like, how can we kind of be conscious of death? Did you have any reminders? Because obviously I want some takeaways.
No, I didn't have
Yeah.
that.
How about you? Because you think about it frequently already.
It's making me sound like XXX song, bro.
You're the guy to go there.
You're the death guy.
Bro, you got that. Death. I think before you go to sleep, just remember that you actually have no guarantee of waking up. That's basically like if I'm talking about something that I've withdrawn from my life or that I've implemented. Every day I go to sleep, I go to myself, hang on. If Allah takes me in the state I'm in now, is everything going to be okay in the hereafter? Like, am I going to be all right? Am I going to be sweet?
Yeah.
Have I done enough? No, obviously you're gonna think no. So then before you go to sleep, you have your wudu, because you're gonna be like you start shitting yourself when you're in your bed. Yeah, you're basically lying down and you're like, okay, now this is me and God now. That's it. Yeah, nobody else around me. If you're in your room by yourself, if you got your brothers and sisters and stuff, try to ignore it, look past it. Yeah, so lie down, see that it's only you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that you're talking to Him personally, one to one. I think Dharma said this: when you're on your side, when you're on your right side, you're sleeping, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you for what you've done, to forgive anybody you've hurt, and ask for forgiveness for anything bad that you've done, you know, and just completely like try to wipe away everything that's happened in the past and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take you if it's the right time, and to give you another opportunity tomorrow to like obviously to do more good, and if you forget, give you a reminder of that. And yeah, basically make your last du'a be before you close your eyes.
And sleep is the minor death they talk about. So
It is, a
I
cousin
think
of
that would
death.
be good if you create that as a habit.
Yeah, I want to chuck in one last thing as well. You know, also with the death thing, I don't want people to confuse the fact that like it might make you a bit sad and depressed and whatnot, because you can have a different outlook to it as well. You know what I mean? You can feel more fulfilled in life. Like you can go to task and all that kind of stuff and live a life not of regret. You got what I mean? Hey, this might be my last day today. Let me do what I love. You know what I mean? If I like doing podcasts, let me go do podcasts. If I like doing this, I like doing that. You know, and you go out and you go smash it out.
That's why the hadith was quoted about, like, the Prophet encouraged the believers to wanna like a long life.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
To do more.
You know, but I think if we can all like just even go on our phone and reflect and write that question down, it's like, what if this was your last Ramadan? What would you do differently? And if you actually don't just say, oh my God, if you actually write it down and then you start thinking about when you go for Tarawih, let me pray a little extra when I get home. Let me do just 2 rakats. Every day you get up for tahajjud. You literally get up for suhoor every single day. 2 rakats can be a game changer, the dua then. So if you just actually write it down and incorporate some of it, it can be a different Ramadan.
I'm actually
So
trying
that's
to
how we
hear,
get that feel, man.
I'm actually trying to hear what people say. So
Yeah.
send us some to our Instagram,
Yeah.
our account.
Yeah,
Like
we'll
what?
put a poll.
Yeah, we'll put a
'Cause
poll or something.
If you guys give anything, you'll get the reward, inshallah. If
Yeah.
you know, when we share it and stuff. If you just say like do
Because someone might.
subhanallah 100 times, or you know, people say like astaghfirullah
Oh,
100
so
times.
something that you've got
Yeah.
set up, like a routine.
Like, what would you do differently? I'd do
Yeah.
more dhikr. I'd do more du'as.
Yeah,
And then we
love that.
post it. Inshallah, you get the reward.
Make a hashtag on Twitter, even though we don't have one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hashtag if this was my last Ramadan.
It's not bad, but not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll end the episode there. Thank you guys for listening. Also, thank you guys for helping us reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We wouldn't be able to get there if it wasn't for you guys. We appreciate the love and support. Whether you're from Uzbekistan, Russia,
Azerbaijan.
Australia, the whole spot. We really appreciate you guys. And inshallah, road to, I guess, 10,000 is our next step. You know what I mean?
Inshallah.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Peace out, guys. Assalamu alaikum.